Breaking update coming in, and the Indian Medical Association's branch in Rajasthan has called a 24-hour strike over the doctor's suicide in Dausa. The IMA there says all medical services will remain shut. Now, this is part of a big story that we are following. After a Rajasthan-based doctor facing murder charges died by suicide, doctors across the state have called for a strike. In a letter to Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Doctors Union, the Federation of Resident Doctors, or FORDA, has sought proper investigation as well as immediate withdrawal of the FIR filed against the late doctor. The Federation has also sought compensation for the family of deceased Dr. Archana. So this is the two aspects of the story that we are following on Mirror now. Firstly, of course, the unfortunate death by suicide of this doctor who was also charged in a murder case. The doctor, in fact, in her note, the note that she left behind, had in fact said that the patient that she was treating had died during normal procedure. But a case of 302 or a murder case had in fact been filed against her related to the patient's death, following which the 42-year-old private hospital gynecologist died by suicide. After that, what we can in fact see is that the doctors across the state have in fact appealed to the Chief Minister demanding a proper investigation, withdrawal of the FIR against the late doctor, and also sought compensation for the doctor's family in this particular case. So doctors across the state have in fact called for a strike, outraged by this particular incident.
क्या कोई सुसाइड नोट वगैरह मिला है?
हाँ, एक सुसाइड नोट मिला है
जी।
अनुसंधान में शामिल कर लिया गया। उस पर अनुसंधान करके जो भी नतीजा है शीघ्र नतीजा करके हम कानूनी कार्रवाई उचित कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
सुसाइड नोट में क्या खास पकड़ में आई कि डॉक्टर क्या कहना चाह रही थी?
अनुसंधान का विषय है, हम इस बारे में आपको नहीं बता सकते क्योंकि ये गोपनीय है। जब तक अनुसंधान पूरा नहीं हो जाता तब तक आपको ये नहीं बता सकते कि सुसाइड नोट में क्या लिखा था।
इसमें किस किस खिलाफ मामला दर्ज हुआ?
ये नामजद है, आपको बता दिया जाएगा, गिरफ्तारी होगी।
But the policemen over there talking about the fact that they have in fact recovered a note after the death of this of the doctor there who has in fact died by suicide in this unfortunate incident, which has in fact in a way stirred the doctors across the state. They have in fact said alleged that this there should be an abetment to suicide case filed in this particular incident, and have also sought a detailed probe in this matter. So the doctors have in fact appealed to the Chief Minister. If we can reiterate the demands which have been given by the doctors, they have called for a proper investigation into the death of Dr. Archana Sharma. She's a 42-year-old hospital gynecologist who died by suicide in this unfortunate case. I am joined in the broadcast by Dr. Ashok Sharda, who's the state president of IMA in Rajasthan. Dr. Sharda, thank you so much for talking to us here on Mirror Now. What are your concerns with this particular incident? This doctor unfortunately has died by suicide, but where do you think things have gone wrong?
See, there are two things. One is on the part of society, number one. Number two is on the part of administration. Society should know the complications of delivery, and the postpartum hemorrhage is a known complication of delivery. You know, the biggest actor of Bollywood, Smita Patil, was died because of postpartum hemorrhage in a very big hospital in Mumbai. So what can we think of all these complications in a peripheral hospital? Every doctor tries to save his patient, his or her patient, at maximum, but we are not beyond the God in nature. So it's a very known medical complication. Rather, I should say it is medical accident. Postpartum hemorrhage is a known medical accident, and she died of because of this thing. Number one. Number two, everything was being satisfied by the hospital owners and the doctor to the family members. They went off their home very comfortably, and there was some negotiation going on at the level of the local leaders. Then the local leaders have asked for some money. The money was being given. वो उसके बाद उनको पैसा दे दिया गया था. उसके बावजूद उन्होंने वहां पे प्रदर्शन किया. और द सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम इज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को जो धारा में केस दर्ज करना था उस धारा में नहीं करके उन्होंने डायरेक्ट मर्डर की धारा में 302 में केस दर्ज कर दिया.
कौन सी धारा में होने चाहिए था आपके हिसाब से?
मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस में क्या होता है कि whenever you consider medical negligence and you receive a complaint in a police station, you need to go for a परिवाद, and the परिवाद it should be a committee should be formed. और कमेटी जब इंक्वायर करके मेडिकल बोर्ड तय करता है तब वो 304A यानी एक्सीडेंटल डेथ ड्यूरिंग ट्रीटमेंट उसके स्पेशल प्रोविजन बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया. तो उसमें केस दर्ज होना चाहिए था, बजाय उसके उन्होंने 302 में दर्ज किया, जो एक कॉमन मर्डर जो इंटेंशनल मर्डर करते हैं उनमें लगाते हैं. तो उससे वो डॉक्टर गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट थी हमारी और बहुत सिंसियर डॉक्टर रही है. उसने इस सारी इसकी परिस्थिति को झेल नहीं पाई और वो सब अपना जीवन लीला उसने समाप्त कर ली. और ये हमारे लिए और हमारे परिवारों के लिए बहुत ही दुखद घटना है. हम सब इसका बहुत रोष व्यक्त करते हैं और विरोध दर्ज करते हैं. आज हमने पूरे राजस्थान को बंद रखा है टोकन स्ट्राइक के रूप में. यदि ठीक से निर्णय नहीं किया गया तो हम इंडेफिनिट स्ट्राइक की ओर भी बढ़ सकते हैं. हम आज डीजीपी को, यहाँ के माननीय मुख्यमंत्री महोदय को और सभी को हम अपना ज्ञापन और मेमोरेंडम विरोध स्वरूप दर्ज कर रहे हैं. और हम मीडिया से भी अनुरोध करेंगे कि मेडिकल फील्ड की जो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हैं वो जनता जनार्दन को अच्छे शब्दों में समझाए कि ये कोई भी डॉक्टर किसी भी अपने मरीज को जो है मतलब बचाने की भरपूर कोशिश करता है.
Dr. Sharda, are you also alleging abetment to suicide in this particular case? Are you all
yes,
also?
Yes. These two things could motivate, could abet the suicide in this case.
Also, Dr. Sharda, I mean, it's a very difficult time for Dr. Archana's family, but have you managed to speak to anyone from the family? Have they also expressed?
We'll manage after 2 days because तीसरा दिन का उनका सेरेमनी है वो कल होगा. उसके पहले अभी उनको फैमिली मेंबर्स को अपने को डिस्टर्ब करना ठीक नहीं समझा हमने, तो इसलिए हम कल आपसे उनकी बात करें.
Right, Dr. Sharda, this is of course a huge tragedy for the family and also as part of the medical fraternity. You would agree that it is unfortunate, very unfortunate the way this doctor has, died. But also we are looking at the impact of this, Dr. Sharda, that you have, in fact, the IMA, as part of the IMA, you've called for a strike across the state. There are several patients who will be inconvenienced by it. What is the impact that we are looking at the moment in terms, and how exactly are you addressing this issue? Are OPDs going to be what you are boycotting, or like the normal or scheduled surgeries or scheduled procedures will continue? What exactly is the plan?
गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल का इमरजेंसी ओपीडी चालू है, 2 घंटा बंद है केवल. अभी प्राइवेट का पूरा बंद.
All the private hospitals, even OPD as well as scheduled.
Yes, OPD as well as emergency is closed in all big and small hospitals in private. But the medical colleges and the service institutions of the government are being closed for 2 hours. Then they will continue with their own services. Thank you so much.
Okay, Dr. Sharda, thank you so much. Yes. Dr. Sharda there talking to us about the unfortunate incident of this doctor dying by suicide in Rajasthan, which has in fact stirred up the medical fraternity there, who are looking at this as a case of alleged case of abetment to suicide. They are saying there needs to be detailed investigation into this. They are also saying that in this case it was wrongly, according to them, that a section of murder was added into the FIR when a patient of this doctor that this doctor was treating died, and she was charged with murder, whereas it should have been a case of negligence at the most if a case was made out in this particular incident. They have appealed to the Chief Minister to look into this issue.